Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It is football's 12th man. It's the Arsenal roundabout. Dan's not available tonight, so I'm going to be hosting. More people are coming, but at the moment, I've got Brandon with me. I've got D from Fanzone TV. We've got Stricto coming. We've got Kenny coming soon as well, and maybe Positive Dan. Let's just get straight into this, boys. We know what we're here to talk about. Reminiscing, it's good that we've had a couple of days to think about it, maybe calm down a little bit. But Brandon, I know we were chatting backstage and you said, can I come to you first? I know you got some things to say. You're on mute right now, by the way. So if you want to jump in, floor is yours, bro.
So are we going straight with the United game or?
Yeah, let's get into it. That's what we're going to talk about. We'll touch a little bit later on about Kairat and then maybe the Leeds game as well. But yeah, man. Yeah, talk to me. First loss at home this season. 7 points dropped out of the last 9. Obviously, draw to Liverpool, draw to Nottingham Forest, and then lost to United. The league form's been terrible, and I'm not going to lie. I've been saying for a while that our league form or our league performances haven't been good, even all the way back to Wolves. You know, since then it's just really been Aston Villa where it's been a good performance. But even Brighton at home, Bournemouth away, you know, a couple of other games where it hasn't been great. And then, yeah, like I said, two losses and two draws and a loss out of the last 3. But yeah, talk to me about United, man.
It was a tough watch. It was a very tough watch. It has been for the last 3 weeks in the league. Let's just be fair. I mean, I have more question marks again over the side and mainly over the mentality, to be honest with you. The mentality's got to come into question with this side because we've seen it for the past 3 years. You know, we've had opportunities to pick up points, drop points. It's just a mannerism and the way that we drop points against teams. It's not so much, you know, you can't go throughout an entire season without dropping points. I'm not stupid enough to sit here and say, you know, we can win every single game. However, when you look at the points in the season where, you know, we're dropping points and who we're dropping points to as well, it just points to mentality for me. You know, it really, really does. Going into the United game, we've dropped points against Forest. We've dropped points against Liverpool, a poor Liverpool side, by the way, that we should at least be scoring against, let alone, you know, beating. We haven't scored a single goal against Liverpool this season. They've conceded left, right and centre in every single game that they've played. And we're at home. You know, our record at home has been pretty flawless this season, especially when going in front. You know, going in front, Arsenal don't tend to lose. So when we scored the first goal, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. You know, we can relax a little bit now, you know, because the stats are there. Arsenal go in front, they do not lose. They do not lose. So I was a bit relaxed, you know, a bit fortunate to score the goal. I think we'll all admit that. You know, I'm still not sure whether it was a Timber goal or an own goal. I don't know. But I don't really care, right? But then what I was really disappointed with is the way we reacted afterwards, you know. Zubimendi. Let's talk about Zubimendi. Poor. Very, very poor. And it's not the first big game that Zubimendi has struggled in this season. You can point to a few other games where Zubimendi has struggled, especially when teams press against us. It's almost like he panics, you know. He was at fault for Richarlison's long-range goal against us when we played Tottenham. He was at fault for giving away the free kick, which Dominic Szoboszlai scored. I know it's a screamer, but you know, again, that's another example of where he's been pressed and he's sort of panicked, gone into panic stations. Look at it against Manchester United. You know, for some reason, rather than controlling that ball, taking a touch, he decides to try and play it first time, and it's a weak pass back. You know, and one of the things that I always say about Zubimendi is one of his strongest attributes is his passing, his range of passing, and his weight of passing. So the only reason why that pass can be short is because he's panicked, because he's under a little bit of pressure. So we concede that goal. And then I'm looking to the team and thinking, right, okay, just calm down a little bit. You know, calm down. Still plenty of time left in this game. You get into half time, and we've seen it on a few occasions this season, boys. You know, sometimes Arsenal don't start very well in the first half. But we come out in the second half and we're a different team altogether. There's examples of this where the managers got into the players and said, you know, go out there, I want to see a different team. Aston Villa, a prime example of that. First half, I don't think we was great. Come out in the second half, scored 4 goals. So I was expecting a totally different Arsenal side in that second half. And we kind of come out and did exactly what we did against Liverpool. We just sat back, allowed Man United to have the ball, invited pressure, which led to Dorgu's goal. Now, Dorgu's goal is an absolute screamer, right? Let's just be honest about it. And there's not a lot of goalkeepers in the world that would save that. However, I don't like the fact that we invited pressure. There was no need for us to invite pressure, and that's the result of that. Again, Zubimendi's kind of a little bit at fault for that because he was very weak in the challenge, very weak in the challenge. Caught out again. Then Arteta makes the substitutions. And by the way, when we talk about Arteta, I think he got the lineup wrong, personally. I know a lot of people were saying start Jesus, because he scored 2 goals against Inter. But really and truly, boys, when you look at it, right, that front 4 that we started against Man United is the same front 4 that we had in 22-23. And it's the same front 4 that let us down in high-pressured moments, in high-pressured games. And this was a high-pressured game because City had just won, Villa had just won. A lot of pressure on this game, especially with the 2 previous results in the league as well, dropping points. So to start that front 4, I thought was a mistake by the manager, but give him a little bit of credit because he recognised it 10 minutes into the second half and made some substitutions. But the only thing... Sorry,
mate. Who would you have started?
I would have started Gyökeres, personally. I would have started Gyökeres because, although he's not been fantastic this season, I think the one thing that he does give us is he occupies the defenders and allows our wingers to have a bit more space, And Saka was bright in the first half. Trossard was non-existent. Let's just be honest. But neither of them really had the space to kind of hurt Man United. Do you know what I mean? They was really struggling to beat their man and get a decent cross in the box. There was a number of occasions where Saka beat his man but failed to get a decent cross in the box because it was just blocked or it went out for a corner or whatever. So I would have gone with Gyökeres personally. I also wouldn't have started Odegaard. I said this last week. I think Eze should have started this game because he offers something different. Now, he did come on the pitch and he didn't do much. And that's absolutely, granted. However, the guy's not had a run of games, boys. He's played 53 minutes of football in the last 7 Premier League games for Arsenal. He's not had the opportunity to get in the side and settle in. Whereas Odegaard, for example, has had game after game of being poor and then continually starting in the following game and the following game and the following game. And then we see him being hooked off on the 58th minute. And that's your captain. That's the guy who is supposed to lead by example on the pitch because we know he's not your traditional captain, the one that's going to grab people by the scruff of the neck, really have a go at them when they're not doing their job. But he's the type that should lead by example, right? And he's being dragged off. Problem is the substitutions made little to zero effect on the game itself. I know Marino scored the second goal, but in terms of us and what we was producing in open play and what we was producing in terms of creating chances, there was zero difference because nothing changed tactically. And this is where my problem lies with the manager. It's okay bringing these players off the bench, but you've got to change something tactically. And then the biggest mistake he made was the brightest player that we had on the pitch, the one who was causing a little bit of problems. He then decides to move him out on the left-hand side to accommodate Noni Madueke, who has scored 0 goals in the Premier League this season and created 0 assists in the Premier League this season, right? Now, we get the second goal from the corner, set piece. And again, I'm looking to Arsenal to say, cool, we've got 10 minutes. Yeah, there's still plenty of time to get another goal. Just calm down a bit, boys. Just calm down, control the game, and we will create a chance or a decent enough chance to go and win this game. What happens? Man United, straight from the kickoff, play it straight back to their goalkeeper. Their goalkeeper lumps it forward. It ends up in David Raya's hands. David Raya rolls it out. Madueke goes on the attack and runs the ball straight out of play. When we had two men on the edge of the box that he could have squared it to, he runs it straight out of play and gives it back to Man United again, which then leads to Cunha's goal. Again, it's a great finish, but I have to ask, where was the midfield in that situation? Where? What was we doing defensively? The thing about Arsenal is, and that we can point to as a positive, is we are so good normally at controlling games, at knowing when to go, when to stay, when to defend, when to attack. And we was useless against Man United from that sense. Man United was so much better than us from that sense. It was unreal. They created better chances than us. They had better quality on the end of their chances than us. They looked like they wanted it more than us.
What did they create apart from their goals?
A lot of the time it was down to us. Like I'll point to Bruno Fernandes.
I agree, but you
Saliba giving it away again
in terms of controlling the midfield, in terms of chance creation. Zubimendi, we gave them that goal. Dorgu, okay, brilliant play in terms and a great finish. Cunha, obviously, we were attacking, so we opened up. But apart from that, I don't really remember them creating chances. They were just more clinical and rightly so deserved to win the game. But I disagree that they had created.
You're right. They were more clinical, but it comes back down to us again. I'm not even looking at Man United right now. I'm looking at us and looking at what we're producing, and we gave it away. We gave it away, boys. Like Liverpool, in that second half, we gave it away. We gave them the ball, and we said to them, "You play then," rather than attack it. With the Forest game, I said it last week. If City had beat Man United, I think we would have tried to do more to win that Forest game. Not saying we would have won that Forest game, but we would have done more to win that Forest game. And in the 92nd minute, it was kind of dilly-dallying on the ball, playing 1-2s and all this. And I saw a lapse in concentration and a kind of a lapse in mentality again. And this Man United game very much reminds me of that because, yeah, Man United, they're a decent side. They've got quality players. We know that. And they are not as bad as what they have been under Unai Emery, under Ruben Amorim, sorry. And Michael Carrick has got them playing football again. However, we're top of the league. We need to win. We need to... I was just so disappointed. I was so disappointed with how we went about that game. And like I say, we gave it away again. So the question for me has to be on the mentality of these players because they come out, they say, we want to win, we're desperate to win, we want trophies. But when it really, really matters, that they fold. And it's got to stop because we're by the way, boys, I'm not just being negative about it because in reality, we're still 4 points clear at the top of the league, right? But there's an element of fortune for us being 4 points clear at the top of the league. Let's just be honest about it because we've dropped points and everybody else around us has also dropped points. Whereas as in previous seasons, that might not have happened. Go back 2 years ago, that wouldn't have happened with Man City. That wouldn't have happened last season with Liverpool. So we've been a bit fortunate in that sense. But things need to change now. Let me just really give you some stats just real quick, right? Because when I talk about Eze, the disrespect on Eze, right? I've done a little bit of research earlier. Like I said, Eze has played a total of 55 minutes in the last 7 Premier League games. 55 minutes, that's it, right? And we know that football is all about rhythm, yeah? Especially when you're trying to fit into a new side that has a totally different style of play. You're trying to learn, you need a bit of rhythm. You need a bit of, 4 or 5 games under your belt in a row before you can really start to judge someone. But Eze, right, for Arsenal this season, in the league this is, has played a total of 971 minutes. That is the equivalent to 10 full games. 10. That's it. Just 10. Right? He scored 4 goals and created 2 assists. Odegaard in the league, bear in mind he missed six games in the league because of injury, has played a total of 1,091 minutes, and he scored 1 goal and created 3 assists. So Eze has outperformed him in terms of goal contributions in less time on the pitch, and he's trying to adapt to a new team. But yet we consistently play Odegaard over and over and over and over again, right? Oh, and by the way, Odegaard missed 11 games in all competitions through injury this season, in all competitions, that is. And Arsenal have only dropped points in 2 of them games. That was the 2-2 against Sunderland and the 1-1 against Man City. So it just goes to show that Odegaard is a little bit of an issue in this side, because the way that we're set up to play with him and the lack of creativity that seems to be coming from him. The forward line is obviously an issue as well, because our top goal scorer in the league has only got 5 goals. So that needs to change massively. But Odegaard, for me, is a little bit of an issue in this Arsenal side.
No, I agree with you, bro. I think his form is definitely a massive issue. I'm just going to bring the other guys in. Before I do, let me ask you some. I just want a yes or no. Are Arsenal winning the Carabao Cup?
I'd like to say yes, Christian, but
Yeah, just yes or no.
I think we'll get to the final.
So is that a no?
I can't answer it because at the moment, like I was just saying,
yes or no, man.
But I can't give you a yes or no, because at the moment I'm looking at fixtures where
do you think we'll win it? Do you think we'll win it? Are we the best team? Are we the best team in it? Are we the best team in it?
It's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that.
Of course it is. I'm asking you a yes or no question. We're literally 1 foot in the final. We're going to win it or not?
It's not as simple as that.
All right, we're going to win the FA Cup.
Hang on. Again, it comes down to mentality, because I think. Hang on. I think we.
You've done your monologue. I agree with a lot of what you said.
Christian,
I just want to ask you a couple of questions,
Christian, let me answer.
Brandon,
let me answer.
Let
me answer. I think we'll make the final. I think we are the best team in it, and I think we are capable of beating Man City. However, mentality is key here, because in the big high pressure moments this season, Arsenal have folded.
Okay, fair.
So right. I'd like to say we'll win it, but I don't know.
So yes or no, are we winning the Carabao Cup?
Yes.
Are we winning the FA Cup?
It's too early. It's too early to say about that.
Champions League?
Champions League, I actually think, is our best opportunity of winning a major trophy. I genuinely think that.
So a good chance. Premier League?
No.
Fair enough. All right, let's bring in D, waiting patiently in the wings. D, man, talk to me. Again, this United game, like I said, 7 points dropped in the last 3. I've even been saying there's reasons to be concerned. I'm a little bit worried. I still think we'll win it, but come on, man, things need to change. We need to get our form back. And that's got to start on Sunday against Leeds. But talk to me about this United game, man, because for me, bro, it was self-inflicted. We started the game well, first 20, 30 minutes. United were in a good shape at times. We weren't really creating too much, but you could see it was coming. We get the goal, which, it's an own goal, but it was forced. It was a good touch from Saka, shot from Odegaard, and if it doesn't come off Martinez, Timber taps it in. So we're 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden, man, just capitulation. The signs were there before as well. Saliba letting Bruno Fernandes get in behind him, doesn't realise it's there, and then making a good tackle, sloppy misplaced passes, and then Zubimendi, man, giving it away, absolutely criminal. I said after the game as well, it reminded me of Tomiyasu against Man City a couple of years ago in the title race when he gave it to Kevin De Bruyne and we lost 3-1. And it just, went downhill from there. I don't think we got dominated in the game. We had more possession. We were at times looking like the team that was going to score. But in terms of chances on the counter-attack, they look dangerous. And obviously, like I said, again, self-inflicted. Some good play from United for that second goal. get the one back and end up losing it with a sucker punch where our midfield is open and our defense doesn't close down, man. Where are you on this? Should we be concerned? Should we be worried? It's still 4 points clear. There's the positive. I don't really know how I feel. Like, I've listened to so much content over the past couple of days, and I agree with all of it. Like, yeah, we haven't got over the line. The pressure's on now. Man City obviously just signing Gay, getting Semenyo over the line. Like, genuinely, I can see every single side of it. I don't know how to feel, and I only think the next couple of weeks will tell me what I need to know. But yeah, where are you with this?
I think my feeling today is very different to how I'd be feeling on the game day. I feel like on the game day, you're irritated that you lost to your rivals. You're irritated you lost to Man United. You've dropped points in the last couple games. You haven't punished Man City for their 5. They've only picked up 6 points in 5 games. Yeah. So you haven't punished them and stuff like that. But I think really and truly, we've all got to kind of step back and look at it objectively and not try and get...
Hang on, just real quick. Somebody block Bossman G3V in the chat, please.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Is he saying a madness in there, son?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, I feel like when you take a step back, and this is what I'd want the players and the manager to do as well, is take a step back and actually look at it and evaluate what's going on, and then actually look at it and say, you know what? We are still in the ascendancy. We are still 4 points clear. We are still... the title's still in our hands. We've only lost 3 games this season. We're top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League, semi-final League Cup, next round of the FA Cup. That's how I need them to see it. And that's how I'm trying to force my mind to get to. As much as it's irritating and we lose to Man United and stuff like that, for us to actually win the league, we actually have to change how we think. And all of us can get irritated and we're all going to be annoyed. Of course we are, because we're fans. But we've actually got to really change our mindset and say, you know what? I need the players to do this as well. I need the players to be like, don't worry, again, these things happen. We need to win the league. I can't... What's the point of me? Like, I was just as stressed as anyone else on game day. I was irritated. I was angry, fuming. But what is the point of us being like that when we all know that we're in the position to win the league still? That's the only thing about it. Like, we actually have to actually say, you know what, can we win the league? Does everyone that is watching Arsenal right now knows that we can win the league? Whether they think we will or not is a different point, but they all know we can. So we actually have to say, you know what, let's look at it and take it as actually what it is. And what it is if we were in this position at the beginning of the season, would we have taken it? And we'd be over the moon to take this position. So we're 4 points clear. And we've actually got to say, you know what, we can actually go and win it. And that's how I need to see it. I'm disappointed. I'm irritated that we didn't beat Man United. It happens. Football, you lose games. But overall, as an Arsenal fan right now, I'm still looking at it like we've got Leeds next. I still expect them to beat Leeds. Regardless of the situation. Yeah, of course, we've got Ellen Road and stuff like that. It's a tough game. But I still expect to beat Leeds. And the thing is as well, like, in the past, I said this at the weekend. I was talking to a couple of guys that go to games and we was at the games and stuff. And I said, like, we all know that this is it's not the highest level league as we've always had. This is one of the poorest leagues, like, over the course of the last few years. And if this was one of the older teams, the Man United, the old Man United, the old Man Cities, they would have swept this league aside a long time ago. But the fact of the matter is, do we really care if it's one of the poorest leagues? If we end up winning it, we won't care. In the history books, it doesn't say it's one of the poorest leagues. We know it's one of the poorest leagues. We know it's simple. We know it's the league is, this is an easy league to win. This is the same type of league as it was last year when Liverpool ran away with it. It's the same thing. The difference is Liverpool ran away with it. We're not running away with it. But the difference is do we actually care if we end up winning the league? And I don't think we will care. So we actually have to just stay focused, take it game by game. And when I say take it game by game, I literally mean take it game by game. The reason why we're getting so irritated is because we're not taking it game by game. We're seeing it as, oh, we drew with Nottingham Forest and we drew with Liverpool. We've got to take it game by game. The next most important game is Leeds United, and that is it. We cannot look past that game. And that's how we've got to take it. And I still expect us to Leeds United Man City, we've got an opportunity, yeah? Man City have got Spurs away, Liverpool away in the next 2 games. We have to take advantage if they stumble again. We have to. And the funny thing about it is we might be irritated now, like it's 4 points, but it could easily go back to 7 points in the next couple of games. It really could. So we have to look at it like, do we have faith that we're going to do it? Probably not, because we know what we've been capable of, but that's a different conversation. The players have to beat Leeds. Like, Ellen Road is not an easy ground to go to. That's one of the hardest grounds to go to. It's a nightmare. It's a giant. I think people don't really realize how much of a giant Leeds are. I grew up with Leeds in the Premier League. They're a giant team. So it's another game that's going to be just as hard as how it was at Sunderland. It's a giant game. So they got to be up for this game again and go for this game. And we've got to go to the game by game, bro. It's going to be just as hard as Man United. That game at Man United is going to be just as hard as Leeds. The same level of intensity, the same awkwardness, the same type of like battle. So as far as I'm concerned, I still expect the players to focus on one game at a time, man. And that's just how I see it. I've got to take my mind into what I want the players to do and force my mind into that. I was vexed after Man United, bro. Fuming. This is what we do. Mentality this. Arteta that. Odegaard this. Gyökeres that. Jesus this. I was in that same mode, bro. I was in that same mode. 2 days later, I've got to look at it like I need to actually focus on what we actually need to do, because we still have to win the league, bro. Like, that's the facts. Like, I don't, regardless of what's going on, I still need the club to win the league. Like,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
so, I think there's adjustments that need to be made. I think we'll all agree on that. What do you think needs to change? Do you think there's any personnel within the squad, i.e. taking Odegaard out, maybe playing Eze or etc., or do you think it is just like a tactical thing? But what do you think we need to get over the line?
Well, I do feel like Odegaard at the minute, he is the clear underperformer, captain coming off at 50 odd minutes. I think that's obvious that right now he's the obvious choice to kind of come out the team when need be. But like, in terms of actual personnel, I said it before. And when you talk about mentality, I don't just say the word mentality for no reason. I'm not like that. I say the word mentality and I say it with a real meaning. When I say mentality, I'm talking about killing your rivals. I'm talking about when you've got a chance to buy Semenyo and to stop him going to Man City, you do that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. But you got to remember, most of these big teams like Leeds, teams like Sheffield Wednesday, teams like Wimbledon. I was talking about this with my cousin. These teams were in the Premier League for years. They never thought they were going to have a drought. We've had a 20-year drought. When we were winning Premier Leagues and FA Cups when I was younger, I was 17 the last time we won one. I never thought that we was going to go a 20-year drought. I didn't even think like that. You can quickly spiral into a drought without realizing. These owners need to understand that Arsenal, you've got an opportunity here to win a league title for the first time in 20 years. Now, if you don't win it now, they did it last year when we were competing for the Champions League and they did not invest in January. Every time you have a transfer window, you should improve your squad every single time. There's a reason why the transfer window opens. You should improve your squad every single time. It's not open for no reason. There's never a moment you can't improve your squad. It doesn't exist.
I disagree with you on that, D, because we've had like 200 odd million in the summer. Like, a lot of us were sitting here saying we're happy with this squad, and we should be happy with this squad because we have a squad that's full of quality. The problem that I'm seeing at the moment is that the quality is not being used. I.e., for example, right, we brought in Madueke. He's barely kicked ball. Right, not saying that I rate him or anything, because I don't. I didn't want him at Arsenal, but the point is he's barely kicked ball. Eze's barely kicked ball. You know, Gyökeres has probably been the most consistent one, and then the two, and Zubamendi, obviously, and the two defenders. Zubamendi's been relied on heavily. The defenders have had to be relied on because we've had injuries in that area. But aside from that, they probably wouldn't have played much football. But from the attacking areas, we've gone back to, you know, playing the originals again.
It's not just about it's not just you're saying it like that. You feel that our team's good enough to win the league. It is good enough to win the league, but that's not the only thing you do. You also need to buy players to stop other teams getting certain players, like I say, like Semenyo, where we need a winger, and he's gone
But
to
we
Man
did. We brought Eze.
I
But
know,
he's not being used.
but the January window's not open for no reason. Why is it open then?
No,
It's
I totally,
open for you to
I
improve your
totally
squad.
agree with you. I
I don't
totally
care.
agree with you.
I don't care that our squad is good enough to win the league. Make it better. It's open for a reason. There's a reason why. It's like saying to somebody, "Oh, you've got money. You don't want more money." Why do I care?
But then also from the owner's perspective, right? He's been given a lot of money. He's been given a lot of players in the summer, but he's not using them. So why are you then going to go and give him more players that he's probably not going to use?
That's a different point. The point you're making is about whether or not you think Arteta is using the players correctly. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you can improve the squad. If Arteta is your manager and you're the owner, you've got enough money. You can say to him, listen, here's another 100 mil. You've got 100 mil in the winter transfer window. Simple as that. You've got enough money. You can say that to him.
Yeah, but who's saying that they haven't said that to him and he's just gone, look, I'm happy with my squad?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when I say mentality, I'm saying it as if to say if Arteta decided he doesn't feel like he needs to improve the squad, then it's on him. That's his decision as a grown man. I'm saying it as I feel like every opportunity you can to improve the squad, you do it. Whether it's winter, summer, you improve the squad every single time. That's what it's there for. It's not.
Let me chime in quickly. Are we having an impressive season? Panel, chat.
Of course. So far.
Of course we are.
Yeah, we're having an impressive season. We've put ourselves where we are. And, I heard the discussion. I heard the argument earlier. Not everyone else is having a good season. But nonetheless, we put ourselves exactly where we are. Whether it be the Champions League, the Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup. These boys have put us there. Whether or not you agree Eze should get more minutes, whether you agree Gyökeres should be up front or Jesus, no matter what, everyone has played their part into where we are so far. I, like most Arsenal fans, was very disappointed with the results on Sunday. Very, very. Not even just because it was another chance to maintain our distance in the table, but the fact it was United, and that's my own personal sort of interest. But overall, boys, we're 4 points clear at the top of the table, and I know the argument will be here. We've been here before.
It doesn't mean a thing unless we win it, though. Strict though, this is the thing.
But unfortunately, we haven't lost it and we haven't won it yet. In either case, everyone that we've signed has played a part. Everyone. Now, the discussion about bringing more players, I'm not against bringing in more players. Personally, I don't think at this point we need it, and I think it's just a lot of knee-jerk reaction from Sunday's game, because we played Bournemouth, which is a tricky place to go to, as we know, and we swept them off the park with these same players. So I don't know whether or not it's an overreaction. And listen, come next week, we could get back our 7 points. Just before Christmas, I think we was 2 points clear, and I can't remember who it was on this channel that was saying, but we were 6 points clear, but now we've only 2, and then within a week or so, we were 6 points clear, 7 points. Now it's back to 4. These players, the manager, they know what this is about now. They know it's about performing, and not even performing, but it's about doing what needs to be done at any cost. Now, everyone's saying we faltered under pressure, and I don't think we faltered under pressure. I think when I actually look at it, I think it's quite the opposite. I think we've been playing way too relaxed. Take the Zubimendi pass, for instance. That isn't a pass born out of pressure. That's a pass born out of just being relaxed. Take Saliba not getting too close to Fernandes in the box. Too relaxed. Pressure doesn't allow you to be relaxed. Pressure has you on the edge of your nerves. We're way too relaxed. And I think that's what I would say probably the issue is. I know there's a bit of mentality there, but I've also heard the players announce clearly that they know they're in a title race. I've heard Saliba talk about how he's hating the fact every time he looks in his pocket, there's nothing in his pocket. These players have clearly announced their intentions. Now, that isn't a team that is faltering and doesn't want this. They want this. They're saying that they want it. Yes, it's one bad game. I couldn't care less if the
saying it and proving it on the pitch, though, Stricto, is two different things.
But saying it is even harder because you're actually inviting that pressure on yourself. You're actually saying, "Bring me the pressure. I wanna handle it." You know, we've had for years when players are asked questions, "Oh, are you in a title race?" And no one actually says it. But now you're hearing, I've heard Saka say it. I've heard Saliba say it. I've heard Big Gabby say it. I've heard even fucking Eze and Madueke say it. So
but hang on. Let's just be real about this. They're not going to sit there now and say, top 4. They know what's expected of them.
No.
After 6 years of being in the same thing, they know what's expected of them. So they're not going to sit. They're not going to go, top 4.
Hold on a second. Even when it was top 4, they didn't even announce it. Oh, we're trying to get to the top of, what. They never announced it. I'm hearing them announce it. You go Google it, search it. They've announced it. Multiple interviews. Oh, the title race. When Madueke was asked that question when he was at Chelsea, are you in a title race? What did he say? You telling me that there's less expectation at Chelsea than there is at Arsenal? He said title race. I don't know what that is. He said that. But they know. You're the Arsenal now, yeah, where we are right now. There's a massive expectation. And I'm sorry I heard your conversation about Eze earlier. There is no room for passengers. I've looked at what Eze's done.
So what? Hang on. So what's Odegaard then? What's Odegaard then if he's not a passenger?
Which is absolutely brilliant, yeah. But every time I watch this guy play, I don't see nothing that convinces me on why he should start over Odegaard. Clear and obvious. There's nothing. It's not clear and obvious. It's not clear and obvious.
But again, though, Stricto, give him a run of. This is what annoys me, right? If you give him a run of 3, 4, 5 games, I know this ain't the time now. Yeah, the time for experiments is been gone. We're in the business end of the season, so I get that, and I get that Odegaard is going to start because he's Arteta's man. I get that, right? And business end of the season. The disappointment for me is that the experimental, side that we could have done earlier on in the season has been and gone now. And when that experiment was happening, Eze was performing. Eze scored a hat-trick against Spurs. He won us the game against Crystal Palace. He was coming up with assists. He was part of the reason why we scored that 3rd goal against Inter Milan, So it's not like he's done nothing. He just hasn't had the time that Odegaard has been given, right? Odegaard's been here for a long time. Eze's got to adapt. But the point that I'm making is Odegaard, no matter whether he performs good, bad, or whatever, he's straight in that team the following week. Now, I get it. He's the captain, right? I get it. But there comes a point where you have to look at a player and say, you're a liability at the moment, and we can't afford passengers. Like you just said, we can't afford passengers in the business end of the season. Odegaard is a passenger right now for Arsenal. He's a passenger.
Odegaard, and listen, he's the captain. And I've seen him improve over these last few games. Take away the United game. Let's not lie. Odegaard has improved these last few games.
Which games?
Well, you want to talk about Bournemouth? Talk about Villa? He's improved. He's on his way to improving. He's on the right step. So let's not undervalue what he's been doing. Let's not, and I'm not even trying to undervalue what Eze is doing. However, what I'm saying is, in real time, when I watch Eze, I think he had a stinker against Inter Milan. I think he had a stinker against Palace in the League Cup. He's had a lot of opportunities. Now, you take for instance now, Marino, for instance, yeah? Marino's played 967 minutes this season. 967 minutes. No time to adapt, straight to it. Comes on when we need him to play in that role, in that central striker role. He comes on 8 times out of 10, usually does a decent job. So I'm not trying to hear like, oh, he needs a run of games. What Semenyo's coming
Yeah,
straight away?
hang on. Strict though.
Semenyo, straight away.
Strict though. We
Straight away.
didn't sign Marino in the summer. Marino's had a whole season to adapt to Arsenal. Eze hasn't had that. Eze has not had that.
What Semenyo had at City?
Yeah, but again, City are playing to Semenyo's strengths because Semenyo is an out-and-out winger who likes to cut inside and shoot. City are allowing him to do exactly what he did at Bournemouth. Eze at Palace compared to Eze at Arsenal now is not the same Eze because Eze at Palace would pick. Hang on, Eze at Palace would pick up the ball and drive at players, right?
Eze at Palace, Eze at Arsenal, sorry, Brendan. Eze at Arsenal and Eze at Palace. Two different expectations. You can do all of that at Crystal Palace.
100%. I totally agree with you. But the point that I'm making is
there's a reason why he can't start at Arsenal.
Totally. I totally agree with you. There are two bigger, different expectations. However, what Eze was really good at Palace, picking up the ball and driving at players. We don't like that type of... Arteta don't like that type of player because he doesn't want to risk losing the ball. So Eze is now having to adapt his game to suit the way that we play, which is not how he's used to playing. So he's got a lot more adaptation to do in this side than what a Mikel Merino has, because he's more that sort of type of player than what any other player has really got. But he's got to be given that time, and he's got to be given a run of games to prove that. You know, you give him 5 games, and if he's still shit, fair enough. You know, put him back on the bench, put Odegaard back in the team. That's fine.
All right, lads. I want to bring Kenny in. He's been waiting here patiently for for about 40 minutes. Kenny, where are you on this? Oh, we've been chatting about Arsenal United. Obviously, came in after about 10 minutes. Where's your head at now in terms of this team? You positive, worried, and then I want to ask you about the Odegaard Eze thing as well, because I'm kind of at a point now where Odegaard hasn't been good recently. Physically, doesn't look at it. I think Eze's probably got more end product, which we need right now. Our attackers haven't been scoring goals. Yeah, where are you generally at with this Arsenal team right now?
Look, this Arsenal team, for me, is running empty. The tank's emptying. There's players who've come back from injury and they're taking too much time, too long to get back to full fitness, and it's affecting their games. The defenders, Saliba and Gabriel, don't look right. In terms of the fitness, it's like we're in May, coming to the end of a grueling season, and we're in January. You've got 15 games left. Plus, we know we're going to have hopefully a long Champions League campaign. Then we've got the FA Cup. Then we've got a second leg against Chelsea. We look knackered. Look absolutely knackered. Against Man United, they look fresher. You know, obviously they're playing one game a week. In midfield, they're absolutely the bosses, especially after the first goal. I can't understand that after we went 1-0 up, we thought the game was over. You know, the football was just a waste of time. It was slow, ponderous. It's like all the joy was sucked out of the way we play, which is a trait of Mikel and Pep. They suck the joy out of everything. The team got no creativity, no flair, no panache. It's like they're instructed to just be more organised, you know, keep men behind the ball. And that's where do have issues. But in terms of like where we're at, look, if we don't beat Leeds and Man City and Villa win, then we are going to be under pressure. The fact is we haven't been playing well since Fulham away. The last game we actually played okay and was Villa. But that for me, I think that result and that performance was a myth because we went back to our bad old ways. The Liverpool game wasn't great. It wasn't good. They won. They were better than us in every department. Physically, they're better than us. On the ball, they're better than us, and they were more organised. We seem to struggle against teams who play like that. Not the Forest as well, 17th in the table, but they had their little shape. You know, they were quite good on the ball when they had possession, and physically, we couldn't cope with it. So what we're seeing is that we're seeing great performance in the Champions League, where the common denominator is we're not playing teams that get at us who are physically going to test us over 90 minutes. I mean, going up and down, where in the Champions League, it's slow build-up and then quick in the last third, and that suits us down to the ground. We love that because we're able to dominate teams physically. But in terms of like Odegaard, I've had enough now. I think it's time to take him out of the team. He hasn't been playing well at all. He hasn't been playing well. You know, he's only been playing well in spurts and bits. Like, you know, second half against Aston Villa, Bournemouth first half, bits of the first half, bits of the second half. But in the last few games, he's running out of empty. He's running out of ideas. He's doing all the things that he was doing last season, coming too deep to, you know, to take the ball, clogging up the midfield, winning. Really, he should be close to Saka. He doesn't even affect games. I mean, your captain being substituted because he's not effective. We're carrying him. We're carrying Martin Odegaard, but he's not the only one. We're carrying Bukayo Saka. Where's everyone? Why is everyone just silent on Bukayo Saka? Why is it a crime not to question Saka and doubt whether he's world class? He's been terrible. We carried him as well, but no one wants to talk about it. And then the forwards, it's like a pick and mix of who's worse. Jesus isn't fully fit. He was terrible. But Gyökeres, you know, thank God the referee put the flag up. But that last bit of play,
what was he doing?
What was that? I thought it was like you know, like the giant. You know, I thought it was like the Goliath out there with that tub. You know what I mean?
All he's got to do is a tiny little touch, just a little square touch, and Saka taps it in.
That's the thing. At the moment, we're where we are in spite of in Europe, we're excellent. We deserve to be there. In terms of the league, we're crawling over the line because we haven't managed to rotate our players properly. Too many players come out from injury and they're rushed back, and we expect them to produce supreme performances. And these are players in key positions. Timber, it's got to be managed. He don't look too fit. He can't come out with, you know, like consistent performances, although he's still our best player in most of the games, but he's not fit. This is going to kill us. I said on previous podcasts where you've all been on it, where I said the thing that's going to hurt Arsenal is that Arsenal are their biggest rivals. But what I said is the amount of games we're playing every 2 to 3 days is going to take a physical toll on us, especially getting into the business end of the season. We're not even the business end of the season. We're not knackered. I've counted about 3 or 4, 5 players who look like they're playing themselves into fitness. If you try to do that against teams in the Premiership, who most of them we're going to be playing once a week, you're going to get hammered. Doesn't matter where you are on the table, they're going to do it on fitness. And because a lot of Premiership teams spend millions of pounds on strikers and midfielders, they'll be able to keep the ball because they're Premiership players. That's going to be our Achilles heel. So we're going to have to rely on Man City to drop points. They don't look right, and we have to rely on Villa. But as Dee says, if we win it, I'm taking it because I've suffered too long. But be prepared, guys, for it to go down to the wire. We are going to see more, you know, in separate performances. We all see, you know, drop point, maybe draws, maybe a few losses. But that might be just enough. But next season, I'm telling you now, before I'm going to finish in this, rip this team apart and start again. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you're going to think we're going to go in with this team and dominate, as everyone says we are, over 6 years, you're mistaken. You're very mistaken. There's some players who've reached the end of the road. And we know it. Everyone in this panel knows it, but we daren't say it in case they have a few good games. We think, oh, maybe I was exaggerating. But you know it. You know football, all of you guys.
Can I ask which players, Kenny? Can I ask which players?
Odegaard. Havertz, Jesus, Benjamin White. Who else is there? Miles Lewis-Skelly, go on loan.
Left wingers.
Gyökeres one more season. That's a start. There was just more, but that's the ones that just coming off. These are the ones that just come.
Yeah, I'd add him there as well.
And I'll put a bomb up Saka's ass and said, "Come on, get a grip, son."
I was going to say I'd add both left wingers in there because Trossard.
You know what? You remind me of Martinelli and Trossard. Good servants to the club. They've done their bit, but you need upgrades there because if you really, really want to dominate and win Champions Leagues and leagues regularly, these guys, sometimes you have to tap someone on the shoulder and say, look, you've done really well for us. I respect everything you've done, but we've got to upgrade now. Because
I think Madueke gets one more season to improve his end product as well.
And Eze deserves a bit of time because he's got there. But the standards that we need to sort of reach those levels, not with these players. Odegaard is not going to take you to the promised land. He's gone as far as he can. He's a good player, but if you want to dominate, you want great. You want elite. He's not elite.
All right, lads, let me get these super chats in, and then we'll touch on Kairat, even though it's a dead rubber, but we'll talk about Leeds quickly as well. Cliff 5853 says the substitutions were well timed, but what is the sense of making the subs and continuing to do the same shit sideways, backwards, out to Saka, deflect through a corner, rinse and repeat? I completely agree, man. The football recently has been, in the Premier League anyway, it's been shocking. It's been boring to watch. The narratives that a lot of people were mentioning at the start of the season, when I don't actually think it was that bad, in the last few games, it hasn't been great at all. And yeah, in attack, we're toothless, man.
I almost feel like if we do win the league, our attacking players should give up their winners' medals to the bloody set piece coach at this rate. Let's just be honest.
I don't know about that, but I see what you mean. Chaitanya 1761992 says, just stick Marino up front now if we're going to keep playing. Odegaard is our best finisher, and Arteta won't change. Got a title to win, man. I see what you mean, man. Look, Marino's got more end product than Gabriel Jesus and Gyökeres combined. Like when he plays up front, we look more fluid than any of them, which is mad. I was campaigning for Gyökeres. I wanted this guy. I still think there's a player there. We don't play to his strengths. And I don't think we ever will. I don't think he's ever going to suit the system. Jesus' knees are gone. He can have a good 60, 70 minutes maybe against Inter when it's an open game, but put him in a physical battle, it just doesn't work anymore, man. Maybe, look, I've never been Kai's biggest fan, but maybe him coming back with his physicality, maybe it will help the team. One Mad Press says, everyone talks about mentality, but another factor is squad management. Pep's new signings allow him to rotate the attack. Chelsea can rotate this weekend playing West Ham at home, or we have a high intensity game against Leeds. I do think we have a squad to rotate. Madueke came in against Bournemouth. I think Martinelli came in against Nottingham Forest. And then obviously Trossard and Saka came back in. Jesus, obviously we rotated the striker. We definitely have rotation options. It's just about if they're good enough and if they can do a job.
Well, not just that. We've got the game midweek to rotate, haven't we? Kyra,
the whole team. 100%. Cliff says, preach Brandon, these bulb? Like bulb disciples. I was talking about Arteta. Come on, guys. Guys, you see the bulb? When we switch on the bulb. Look, bro, the bulb is still switched on, man. We're still top. Like we know what we're doing in the there you go. Fair play. You'd think he's an op with this. This is what the ops have been doing this week. Brandon's got it pulling it out. But you know what, bro? Fair enough. If we don't win this league, the signs were there, man. So look, I'll be just as angry as everyone else. James Justice says Stricto said Odegaard improved last few games, and says Bournemouth and Villa, that was like 5 or 6 games ago. Eze needs to start. Yeah, I agree. I think he was getting better. He was playing well. There were a few good games, but it was patchy. Yeah, it was maybe 60 minutes against Villa. Maybe it was a half against Bournemouth, a half here and there. But I think Liverpool game, he was anonymous. Nottingham Forest, he wasn't. I think he had one pass in the final third against Nottingham Forest, which is ridiculous for supposed to be in midfielder.
Even when he's not doing his creative thing, the one thing that he does tend to bring to us is his high pressing. But even that's gone missing recently. Like he's not been pressing as high. He's not been leading the press like he normally does either. He's just not been very good at all.
Hasn't been great. And Dells says, do you think Odegaard, Rice, Zubimendi is a balanced midfield? It's a good question, actually. Because Arteta, he wanted to try the midfield of Rice, Odegaard, Eze, didn't he? That West Ham game, which was a long time ago now, he started that midfield, and obviously Odegaard did his knee 20 minutes in, then we haven't seen it since. I think there's so many games at home, you don't need Rice and Zubimendi. As much as Rice goes forward, he doesn't really have attacking output. He doesn't score that many goals. I know he scored 2 against Bournemouth, but apart from that, he doesn't really chip in with how many goals he scored this season? Like 5, 4? Not that many at all. Apart from corners, he doesn't really create chances going forward. He is a defensive-minded player. What he's best at is getting stuck in, winning the ball back, driving us up the field, and then distributing maybe to an Odegaard or out wide. He's not the guy that threads a pass. He's not a guy that bends it in the top corner, really, even though he has done at times. And Zubimendi's a 6. He's a holding midfielder. So that midfield is is a more defensive-minded midfield. A midfield of Rice, Eze, and Odegaard, or Zubamendi, Eze, and Odegaard. Or I think against Nottingham Forest, we started Zubamendi, Rice was on the bench. I think it was Nwaneri and Marino, I think it might have been. And it was just, it was a lot more free-flowing. You got a couple of players who create, a couple of players who can score goals.
Christian, sorry to interrupt. You know this manager inside out. You know that his first thought isn't about playing with panache and flair. It's all about being organised. You know this.
I know, man. I know.
You wish it would happen, but he's going to win the league his way. He's got, i.e., make ourselves difficult to beat. Make sure we're not overloaded. Make sure that we press, and then if we win by a set piece, so be it. That's how he's going to do it. It's because he's tried it, and obviously in some games it worked, but he wouldn't dare try it. Can you imagine if we're playing like Man City, the Etihad, in those last few games? Do you think he's going to play that team? He's definitely going to go Rice, Odegaard, and Zubamendi, because he's worried what City's going to do, because that's his first thought. Whilst Pep, his first thought isn't so much about what the opposition will do. He's going to want to play in, obviously, his organised way, make sure to keep the ball ticky-tack, and then, make sure they win the ball back, after 5 seconds. But with Mikel, that's been his first thought. That's been him from day dot as he's got here.
First thought, don't lose the game.
I mean, what Arteta is doing is a boxer who's been knocked down so many times. And sometimes you just need to take it easy and get through the rounds and get it done. We've had entertaining football. We've had that season where we was flowing, never lost to any top 6 teams. And what did that bring us? Nothing. This season is possibly trying it different. Don't want to really throw too many haymakers in case something comes back again and you have to start again. And I think it's the cleverest way, at this moment in time. He's got the players that can play it. Is it exciting football? I'm not saying it is. Far from. Is it effective? Looks like it. 4 points clear at the top of the table. And I'm not getting sucked into nothing else other than we are. I mean, this conversation is mad. You would never know we was top of the table.
We just come out of a game. We just come out of a game where we got beaten by Man United. We come out of a period where, let's face it, we haven't been playing well. And you know with football, out of the last 9. But you know with football, if you get yourself into bad habits, the wins, the unimpressive wins turn into draws, and then the draws turn into defeats. And this is like a pattern from 22-23. We were like this in 22-23, where we were saying, look, calm down, lads, calm down. We still got those points to vote, but we're still playing bad. We're still letting in goals, still had these bad habits, and it came crashing down. We don't want the same now.
Drixel, I get what you're saying, man. If you dropped me in this season with no context, obviously I'll be gassed, top of the Champions League, all the cups, whatever. But the context exists in football, form, momentum, like it all exists. Dropping 7 points out of your last 9 it's not title winning. It's not title winning form. And I have to be completely honest as well. I backed this team and this manager, and I still do. But one of the big reasons we're in this position is because City aren't the City of old. Liverpool aren't the same. No, it's true. It is true, man.
No. That's none of our business. What City are doing.
I know it's none of our business.
Because no one cares. Hold on, Christian. No one gave a shit when City was flying. No one said, it's because Arsenal was shit, because Liverpool was shit. Everyone gave credit to Pep, and rightfully so.
Last season, a lot of the narrative was
when he was doing it, rightfully so. Everyone give credit to Slot last season, rightfully so. I'm not even trying to hear what other teams are doing and what we are sitting where we are. Nobody's giving us this spot. Not one person's giving. The league table doesn't lie. I'm sat here thinking, I'm sitting there thinking maybe we're 4 points behind City. We're 4 points fucking clear of City. How much of City spent? City's gone out and spent every time. True, I'm not condoning the performances. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not condoning, but I think we're looking at it in isolation. One game's gone. We lost that game. We should have not lost that game.
It's not one game. 7 points dropped out of the last 9. You can't say in the last 3 games in the Premier League, we look like a team that's going to win the title. We haven't in the Premier League.
7 points on the weekend, Christian.
Yep. Yeah, but at the same time, though, Strict, we can't ignore the fact that we could have been 11 or 13 points clear by
I'm
now.
not could have been FC. We could have been champion.
I'm not
Could have
even
been,
looking at could have been.
been.
I'm just looking about how we're
There's been a lot of
playing.
could have been.
Yeah, but we've done. We Arsenal fans to do that though. If it don't go our way, last season, I'm not saying you, but last season there was a lot of Arsenal fans who were using the fact that we had injuries, that VAR weren't our best friend, referees against us, as one of the reasons why we didn't win anything. So it works both ways. But what I'm saying regarding the performances is that my problem is not just performances. I can't. The way I'm looking at our forwards and I'm thinking, I'm concerned that the way we're playing and the way how we're winning games through set pieces, I don't think it's sustainable. I'm looking at the forward players. I hate stats. You know I hate stats, but I've been to games and I don't know where the next goal's coming from in the league. From Gyökeres, I don't know where the next goal's coming from.
Our third top goal scorer in the league this season is own goals. You got Gyökeres on 5, Trossard on 5, and then 4 own goals.
You know what? It's the performances. If the performances were better, of course you.
So what if on goals? So what is on goals is top? I don't give a. You listen. There is. I don't know whether. Listen. I don't want to say you lot are running agendas, and if you are, it's
no,
crazy
it's not agenda. It's game.
I'm looking at my team, top of the table. Yeah, I'm looking at what everybody has said from the first game of the season. Liverpool gonna win the league. Man City this, and this shit is not sustainable. But yet we are 4 points clear. Yet we are still winning games. Yes, we're still winning without even playing great. I'm not here saying we're playing great, but there must be something that we're doing right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it's the case that everyone else is doing wrong.
You know, we're doing
right.
Yeah. Well, what we're doing right is that what's keeping us top of this table. It's not because we're hard to beat. We're so hard to beat, not just as defense, as a team, as a unit. No, we're so hard to break down. I bet you guys were shocked that we let him 3 goals. Christian's always talked about we haven't let him 3 goals for about a year. Well, that was a shock to a lot of fans. But all the things that we were saying we were good at are keeping us going stead. Slowly, it's chipping away. We were talking about our fabled defence. Well, it's very rare since Sunderland that we kept a clean sheet. Now we've conceded 3 against Man United. All I'm trying to say, if you carry on playing badly, it will chop you up in half. That's what I'm trying to say, is that improve your performances, start winning games, and fans won't be worried. But as you said before, there's scars. Until we start winning these titles, then Arsenal fans are going to comfortably say, you know what, we're going to win the league this year, not just say it tongue in cheek.
Everyone's got their right to support the club or the team how they want to. If you want to do it with depression and pain and PTSD, that's on you. I choose not to go down that route. My route is to be probably more on the positive side, if you want to call it that, more on the encouraging side. I'm seeing things are different. Do I like it? Let's wait till the end of the season. But at this moment in time, I really can't engage in the whole but it's happened before business, because the league's not over yet. The league wasn't over if we would have won against United. We wouldn't have won the league on that game, and the league can't be lost on that game either. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just looking at it as, well, we had a bad game, we had a bad result. The boys know it, the manager knows it. Arteta's come out and said, going forward, he wants them to be more, is it more brave, have more courage, play with more courage, which to me is a positive sign, because there definitely was no courage in that game. There definitely was no risk taking in that game. So that's good that he can actually come out and publicly announce that. But we sat here, and to me, it's just crazy to me, because so far, as far as I'm concerned, I'm having an impressive season. Top of the table in the Champions League. Now, I don't know how that's going to play out in the knockout stages. I don't know. But so far, so good. I really got nothing to say. And I listen, everyone's got their way in it. My way is to look at things different. I think in the past, I've been so-called the negative, or you want to call it real, whatever. Like as soon as it's a bad result, that was me. I was onto the players and I was onto the managers. But that's too stressful for me. I can't do that. And I don't even have a reason to do that this season. You know, it could be 7 points. It could be 1 point. It could be 1 point. But the season started, Liverpool were 5 points clear, and everyone said, that's it. Liverpool are going to win the league. They're going to run away with it. The signings that they've done this summer has been genius. Arnie Slot this, Arnie Slot that. A lot of knob jockeying on Liverpool. This is one thing I see with a lot of Arsenal fans, and I think with a lot of guys who jump on this panel are so scared to stand on business. A lot of you guys stand on what people are going to say in the comments. You want to align yourself with rival fans. That's not me. I'm an Arsenal fan first. I don't give a fuck what Liverpool fans got to say. I don't give a fuck what United fan got to say. I say what I say for my club.
Yeah, and we do too. We do too, Victor. No, come on. We're not having that. We're not having that because you just said yourself. Hang on. You just said yourself that you view football differently. But somebody who views football like I do, but then to say you have an agenda, etc., and all that, it's not about agendas. It's not about agendas at all. My only agenda is for Arsenal to win the league. Let me just say this to you, right? Just to bring a bit of positive light to it. I will be more confident of Arsenal winning this league, irrespective of our performances, if we go and win the Carabao Cup. Because I feel like this team needs to taste the winning feeling. And once they get that taste, that will maybe drive them on. You know, that's how I'm looking at it. But right now, you can't ignore the fact that we should have been and could have quite easily have been 11 points clear. You can't ignore the fact that we're performing really badly in the league. You know, when in other competitions like the Champions League, for example, we're performing pretty well, you know? So there's question marks still.
I've not ignored the fact. I've clearly stated that we aren't performing how we should be. I've actually said I'm not enjoying the performance. I said, is it effective? Yeah. It might be. You know, I've said that. You know, but I think what I'm trying to actually say is I don't give a shit. We are top of the table. I'd rather be sat here where we are, because a lot of the teams in the Premier League will give their left arm to be where we are. That's a fact. But for whatever reason, they can't get to where we are at this point in time. They can't. So it's just mad to me. Like.
Yeah, but which teams are you talking about in particular, though?
Any team.
Okay, cool.
All of this.
I think both things can be true, right? But everyone, you can be concerned because of the form, because of the points dropped. I understand I made the argument about other teams not being as good. I think that is a valid argument, although we should just focus on ourselves. But at the same time, we are top of the league. If you said to any of us at the start of the season, this is the position we're going to be in, we all would have taken it. And all the cups, all the other competitions as well, we all would have taken it. So perspective is huge. But in terms of current form, there's definitely a reason to be.
Current form. You look at the current form. It's not a.
That's the argument. Premier League. I don't think any of us are sitting here saying, you know, this team ain't. I'm personally not. I still believe this team is good enough. But what I'm watching on the pitch now in the Premier League, I'm concerned. There's reason to be worried.
Christian, look at our form. It's not a Premier League winning form.
No.
Right. But at this stage,
2 draws and a loss out of the last 5.
At this stage, the title isn't given at this stage. Like it's not. We could still pick it up. We're stuttering. It's a difficult period right now. And maybe possibly the advantage we have now is a lot of our players are coming back from injuries, and you know we're getting that familiarity back within the squad. And maybe that might help. That might help us. We've got Champions League commitments that we've already tied up, so we don't really need to play a full strength team. We don't need to play a full strength team because we've arranged that. We've sorted that out already. So the rotation and all of that will come into it. But if you'd have told me 23 games into the season in the Premier League that would be sitting top, 4 points clear, Man City and Aston Villa, I will take it. I know I'd rather be vexed from up here than vexed down there is what I'm trying to say. But it seems like it's the other way around. Everyone's vexed from up here. And I don't get it.
I get what you're saying, man. I love the.
And that's what I'm saying.
I've never been vexed from up there. I've never been more torn, man. Genuinely, I understand every argument. The season is on a knife edge right now. I just need us to to go and beat Leeds and fix this Premier League form. But no one's in form. If you look at the form table, no team in the Premier League has won more than 2 out of the last 5 games. It's absolutely crazy. But let me get this last super chat in, and then we'll do some score predictions for Kairat, and we'll do some score predictions for Leeds, and then we'll wrap. Dales says, question for Christian and Stricto. If we win the Carabao Cup, finish second in the Prem, and get knocked out of the UCL Champions League, of the Champions League at semi-final stage, Arteta should dip, right? Stricto,
So what? So I didn't even hear that. So read that again.
We win the Carabao, finish second in the Prem, and semi-final of the Champions League. Should Arteta go?
The conversation's there to be had, but I think also everyone's stated that he has to win a trophy, right? And they'll be happy with him winning a trophy. That's all I've heard.
Not everyone said that. A lot of people have said a major trophy. Trophy. Not,
everyone's
I think the team that he's got is good enough to win a major.
I've heard everyone say to me, give me a Carabao. I'll take it. That's what everyone said.
Dan said it. There was a show that I missed a few weeks. I wasn't on a few weeks ago, right? And then I was on. I think I was on AFTV, and Positive Dan was on with us, and he said to me, "Oh, did you hear what Dan said?" Dan Potts. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, Dan Potts said that he would take the Carabao Cup right now as the only silverware if it was guaranteed, and forget about every other cup." I couldn't believe my ears. He said he doesn't want the Prem. Obviously, he wants the Prem, but if you were to say to him right now, Carabao Cup is guaranteed, but you win nothing else, he said he would take it.
I mean, if I got
you don't want to ticket to the final then, Christian. You don't want to ticket the final then. If we get the Carabao Cup final, you're not having a ticket. Stay and watch it home.
No. It's not that I don't want to win it, Kenny. No. Don't. I want to win it. I really want to win it. I think it will do wonders for our season. I'm just saying, if you said to me now, only take the Carabao Cup this season for how good this team is, there is no chance. There's absolutely
there's a difference between there's a difference between wanting to win it and whether it's enough to keep Arteta in a job, considering etc., and all the rest. Yeah, Dan did say that. Dan did say that. I
called him live on AFTV, and he said it.
He said he would take any trophy at all.
I'm not calling him out. That's how desperate a lot of
I've got a question for you guys. I've got a question.
Why wouldn't take it?
I've got a question for you. That's not important. What's more important to you guys? The league or the Champions League? Because you know I want the league. I couldn't give a damn about the Champions League.
I want the league. I want the Premier League.
Couldn't care less about Champions League.
I don't know.
I'll take it, but the league's all I want. Because I think that this team, to be the best, you have to win the league. That's where, if you want Saliba and Gabriel in the greatest Arsenal teams of all time, they have to win the league.
Completely agree. Right, let's touch on Kairat quickly. We're not going to go into the team. We know what's probably going to see. We're probably going to see Kepa. Ben White will probably start. Mosquera, maybe Hincapié centre backs. Miles Lewis-Skelly will get a game. Norgard will play. Marino and Rice are suspended, so I don't know. Maybe Havertz starts. Eze will start. Probably going to see Madueke on the right.
Is he fit? Is Havertz back from injury?
Yeah, he was training today, I think, or yesterday.
You'll start Havertz. You'll start Havertz. Havertz has only got 20 minutes in him, mate. He's not going to start. He's not fit.
Fair enough. I don't know who else will really start. Maybe Miles plays in midfield and we start someone else at left back. You could probably bring
who'd you play in centre halves? Who'd your centre halves be?
Probably Mosquera and
Hincapié.
Yeah, that's I agree with it.
You know what Arteta does sometimes in these games?
10 changes from Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep him fresh for Leeds.
Probably 11 changes. Maybe you start Gyökeres. He didn't start against
Gyökeres,
United.
But because Declan Rice and Marino's suspended, I'll play Zubimendi, Eze, and Norgard.
Yeah, there might be a youth player that you give a chance. You know, the same way. Who's the kid that started up front again in the Carabao?
Oh, Harriman Anus.
Yeah, same. You know, Arteta just brings these guys through sometimes. Remember, Sago Jr. came through for a game a couple of years ago. Like, if there is a kid in the academy that's looking promising, this is a time to give him a game.
Would you play Salmon?
Marley Salmon potentially could play across the back.
The question is though, I'm not taking a mickey because I know a lot of people are Gyökeres fans. But you're rich to Gyökeres, you can't hit a barn door from a yard. Wouldn't you want to play this game tomorrow?
Yeah, you would. No. But if he plays in this game and he has a poor game, it's a bad look, isn't it?
9 out of 10 times he can't hit a barn door from a yard.
Yeah. Someone made a good point about the Champions League squad. I don't know if you can you bring youth players? I don't even know. Anyway, it'll be a heavily rotated team. So let's get some score predictions. Brandon?
4-0.
4-0, Kenny?
4-2.
4-2. What game? I'm going to be at the game.
He's going to make 10 changes, isn't it? 4-2.
Fair. Strict?
2-1.
2-1.
To be fair though, Kenny, we made a lot of changes against Inter and we still beat them. And Kyra had like the worst team in the Champions League.
So, we're making serious changes tomorrow. Serious changes.
You hope.
I'm going to go for 3-0. Right, let's just do Leeds score predictions quickly. Brandon, big game Saturday, 3:00. Chance to put the pressure on as well because we played before City.
Yeah, we have to win. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1 Arsenal. Kenny?
I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. I think that it's going to be like we're going to have a battle, but I think that maybe a set piece will get us through.
We have to win this game. Stricto?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a disgusting game, man. Kenny's taking my shine with the 1-0, so I'm going to go 2-1.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, I'll take 1-0 now, man. I would take 1-0 right now. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. But look, big up everyone in the chat. Big up to you guys, Brandon, Kenny, Stricto. Brandon, tell the guys where they can find you.
Just here, there, and everywhere. Really, mainly on here. Maybe the Football Terrace most times, fan reactions and whatever.
Nice.
And yeah,
Kenny.
In a cold stadium tomorrow because I'm going to. It's part of my season ticket, so I'll be going to go.
I'll be there as well, man. I'll see you there. There you go. If you want to find Kenny, he's at the stadium. Stricto.
I don't want to see any of you guys. So I ain't going to Toby block. I've got no beef for you two.
Find me Stricto Strict on YouTube, as you can see on the tag there, and I think it's the same on Instagram as well, man. Feel free, come and abuse your boy, man. Come and abuse me on there, man.
Yeah, big up, bro. I've seen you doing your watch-alongs, doing the content, so thank you, man.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week. Dan will
Can I
be
just say one thing? I know you've got to go, and everyone's got to go. Stricto and all you guys, you young guys, this is the first time I understood your rivalry of Man United because I think it's stupid, but I actually got it on Sunday because I was angry because we lost to them. But from my perspective, the reason why I always look at you guys like you come from, maybe something out of, different centuries that I never grew up with Man United fans. I'm from Islington, and there were times when I was living on the Man United. Yeah, come on, I'm born in 1972. I'm probably 20 years older than.
Oh, but it's just mad to hear you say that you didn't grow up with United fans, and
that's crazy to me.
I never grew up random.
I have all my friends were United fans. There was a few of us who were Arsenal fans. All of my friends
I never had that
in London.
I never had that. But I grew up I was born in 1972, and throughout the 70s up until the 80s, where I lived, everyone was Arsenal mostly, and then there was the odd Liverpool fan, and there was Tottenham fans who and some of the fans split. So I never met a Man United fan in my life. So I thought every Man United fan was from Manchester. So when I hear you guys saying I hate Man United, I said, I don't have those traumas. The only time I met Man United fans when I went uni. I never met Man United fans. No.
I never met a Spurs fan till I was 18, 19. Where I lived in South
that supported Spurs in school.
Yeah. Where I lived in South London, you're either Arsenal or Man United. I live in Crystal Palace. I grew up around Crystal Palace, Norwood Junction area.
I'll get that now.
United or Arsenal.
So I lived in North London. I had one friend that supported Spurs. A few of us are Arsenal, majority in North London, school in North London.
I'm surprised at that. I'm very surprised.
I was going to say, similar thing with me as well. I grew up around loads of Man United fans. There was the odd Arsenal fan here and there. My old man's a Man United fan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why
a lot of people see it as a negative thing. I'm just like, that club is massive. That is why they have all these fans. And when everyone's like, oh, but all your fans... The reason they have fans in London is because the club is so big and the club was successful for so long. I don't see it as this thing to be bantered. Like, yeah, man, I remember watching the 8-2 with two of my United friends. Like, it was a tough time.
Christian, that was the first game that I ever went to. and I went with my old man because he got tickets, and I had to sit in United end when they scored 8 goals. Ashley Young with the free kicks. Oh, mate.
I'm understanding it because the thing is, the North London derby is a game I always look forward to, and of course it's there, it's dangerous, but I like to think that I love the fact that I came out of one piece. I loved all that anticipation on the bottles and everyone saying they're going to do you and they don't. And I never had that when I went to Old Trafford. That's why I always assumed that your rivalry was because you had battles with Man United fans. I didn't know it was torment and schoolboy torment. I had no idea.
Kenny, getting on a school bus, getting on a school bus on a Monday morning, the Sunday Arsenal just lost to Man United was absolutely problematic. Like, absolutely. I'm talking about bus 468 or 68A as it was back in the day. You get onto that bus and everyone knows you're an Arsenal fan. It was a long day for you. Absolute long day. You know,
so I get that now, but
I never met a Tottenham fan till I was 19.
Yeah, even when I was like real young as well. Like
I understand.
When Rooney dived to get the penalty and then out and beat and run. Like, even as a youngling, like then, I used to get the shit ripped out of me by Man United fans. It was,
it was tough times, boys. But let's hope at the end of this season, it's not like that anymore.
Well,
hopefully, those kids in school, because I would love to be in school when Arsenal won the league. Oh, what a time it would be, and what a time it will be for all of us, man. It will be
if we win the league this year, it'd be us having the glory, innit?
I'm going to dig everyone out. Everyone I went to school with that was a United fan that bantered me back in the day, they're getting dug out. Even if I ain't spoke to them in 15 years, coming for you.
Bro.
Coming for you. I remember the pain you caused me. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Like I said, chat, big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone here. We'll be back next week after Kairat, after Leeds. Let's hope it's 2 wins in a row, or at least 1. I don't really care what happens tomorrow. Let's just hope we beat Leeds. Guys, peace.
Peace.